Everyone, welcome back to our class. So, how was your weekend? I hope that you had a great and a fun weekend. So, let us start our class with a prayer. So, before we begin our class, let us have a short prayer. I believe that Lenny will lead the prayer for today. So, Lenny, please lead the prayer for your classmates.
Let us pray. Dear Lord and Father of all, thank you for today. Thank you for the ways in which you provide for us all. For your protection and love, we thank you. Help us to focus our hearts, minds now on what we are about to learn. Inspire us by your Holy Spirit as we listen and try. Guide us by your eternal light as we discover more about the world around us. We ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lenny, for that wonderful prayer. Okay, class. So, are you ready for our lesson? All right, class. So let us check first our attendance for today. So, Roy, how many are absent today?
Good morning, Mom. We have one, Joanna.
Joanna, I see. Okay. She chatted me a while ago. I think they're having a connection issue at home, so I understand that, and that's fine. Thank you for checking, Roy, the attendance for today. All right, so before we begin, let me just introduce you first to our virtual classroom rules. So congrats everyone. No one is late. Always be on time. So be on time at least 10 minutes before the scheduled class time. And next, act like you're at school. So make sure that you are, even if you're at home right now, you have to focus. You have to pretend that you're on school. You have to act like you're on your desk. Okay, so listen and take notes. Okay, now please just sit in one spot during our class. No loitering. Do not leave your seat unless there's a break time. So since we're gonna have virtual classroom, please keep your microphones muted so that we won't hear any background noises or any sounds, just the sound of my voice. And if you have any questions. Now next, keep your videos on so that I'll make sure that everyone is paying attention during the class. And if you need to talk, raise your hands, okay? Raise your hands if you have any questions or if I ask you questions, okay? And make sure that you listen carefully with all the topics because later on we're going to have a quiz. And please, no eating during the class. You can bring your water, so it's fine, okay? But no eating during the class unless I'm going to give you a break, okay, in between. Now, last but not the least, have fun and do your best, okay? All right. Thank you, class. All right, so let us proceed to our lesson. Welcome, children. It's me, your teacher, Alcin, your adventure partner. So I'm at a high energy today because you are with me and you will spend time with me and have fun with me while learning. So come and join me as we blast off the rocket ship of new learnings. So let's go and let us imagine. Today we will explore the planet Earth, our very own home, and its subsystem. So we are now in Earth and Life Science, Quarter 1, Module 2, Origin and Structure of the Earth, the Subsystems. So sit back and relax and let us all discover the Earth and its four subsystems. So here are our objectives. As we navigate the lessons, you are expected to, number 1, determine the four subsystems of the Earth. Number 2, describe the characteristics of each subsystem. Number 3, trace the flow of matter and energy in the Earth's subsystems. And number 4, express one's internalized role as steward of the four subsystems concerning the flow of matter and energy. So these are our objectives, and you are expected to learn this at the end of the unit lesson. Okay? All right. Okay, so before we proceed in our lesson, let us check first your prior knowledge during your junior high school science subject. So, in your own understanding class, what is an atmosphere? Anyone?
Mom.
Okay, Jelly. So, what is an atmosphere?
Atmosphere is the thin layer of air that surrounds the Earth. It is made up of various gases such as oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, dust particles, and water vapor.
Okay, very good. So it is like the air layer of the earth. So it consists of the oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases. Good job. Very good. Okay, next, anyone from the class? In your own understanding, what is a biosphere? Okay, anyone? Biosphere, from the word bio. So this is one of the four subsystems of the earth. Biosphere. Okay, so anyone from the class, what is biosphere? Okay, don't be shy. Just a prior knowledge. There's no wrong answer. Anyone?
Mom,
Okay, Rico, what is biosphere?
the biosphere is made of the parts of Earth where life exists.
Very good. Okay, that's enough. Congratulations. Yes, that is correct. Biosphere, it consists of the life. Good job. You still remember your knowledge about biosphere. Good job. Okay, how about the geosphere? Anyone? Geosphere. So from the word geo. So geosphere. Okay, don't be shy.
Mom,
Okay. All right. Lenny, again, what is geosphere?
the geosphere is the Earth itself, the rocks, minerals, and landforms of the surface and interior.
Yes, very good. Yes, that is right. So geo is related to the land. Good job. Very good. All right. Last but not the least, in your own understanding, what is a hydrosphere? Okay, anyone? Hydrosphere.
Mom,
All right. Laika, what is a hydrosphere?
a hydrosphere is the total amount of water on a planet. The hydrosphere includes water that is on the surface of the planet, underground, and the air.
Wow, good job. So you learned a lot from your prior junior high school science subject. Good job. All right. So hydrosphere is related to the water. Okay, very good class. Clap your hands. All right, good job. All right, class, for more illustration, we have here a video presentation on subsystem and how the
Energy is
cycle of
all
energy
around us,
flows.
a physical quantity that follows precise natural laws. Our universe has a finite amount of it. It's neither created nor destroyed, but can take different forms, such as kinetic or potential energy, with different properties and formulas to remember. For instance, an LED desk lamp's 6-watt bulb transfers 6 joules of light energy per second. But let's jump back up into space to look at our planet, its systems, and their energy flow. Earth's physical systems include the atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Energy moves in and out of these systems, and during any energy transfer between them, some is lost to the surroundings as heat, light, sound, vibration, or movement. Our planet's energy comes from internal and external sources. Geothermal energy from radioactive isotopes and rotational energy from the spinning of the Earth are internal sources of energy, while the sun is the major external source, driving certain systems like our weather and climate. Sunlight warms the surface and atmosphere in varying amounts, and this causes convection, producing winds and influencing ocean currents. Infrared radiation, radiating out from the warmed surface of the Earth, gets trapped by greenhouse gases and further affects the energy flow. The sun is also the major source of energy for organisms. Plants, algae, and cyanobacteria use sunlight to produce organic matter from carbon dioxide and water, powering the biosphere's food chains. We release this food energy using chemical reactions, like combustion and respiration. At each level in a food chain, some energy is stored in newly made chemical structures, but most is lost to the surroundings as heat, like your body heat, released by your digestion of food. Now, as plants are eaten by primary consumers, only about 10% of their total energy is passed on to the next level. Since energy can only flow in one direction in a food chain, from producers on to consumers and decomposers, an organism that eats lower on the food chain is more efficient than one higher up. So eating producers is the most efficient level at which an animal can get its energy. But without continual input of energy to those producers, mostly from sunlight, life on Earth as we know it would cease to exist. We humans, of course, spend our energy doing a lot of things besides eating. We travel, we build, we power all sorts of technology. To do all this, we use sources like fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas, which contain energy that plants captured from sunlight long ago and stored in the form of carbon. When we burn fossil fuels in power plants, we release this stored energy to generate electricity. To generate electricity, heat from burning fossil fuels is used to power turbines that rotate magnets, which in turn create magnetic field changes relative to a coil of wire, causing electrons to be induced to flow in the wire. Modern civilization depends on our ability to keep powering that flow of electrons. Fortunately, we aren't limited to burning non-renewable fossil fuels to generate electricity. Electrons can also be induced to flow by direct interaction with light particles, which is how a solar cell operates. Other renewable energy sources, such as wind, water, geothermal, and biofuels, can also be used to generate electricity. Global demand for energy is increasing, but the planet has limited energy resources to access through a complex energy infrastructure. As populations rise alongside rates of industrialization and development, our energy decisions grow more and more important. Access to energy impacts health, education, political power, and socioeconomic status. If we improve our energy efficiency, we can use our natural resources more responsibly and improve quality of life for everyone.
All right, class. So that was a video presentation about the subsystems and the energy flow on the earth. Now, next, let us be engaged. I need you to remember what we have discussed a while ago. All right, so there are 4 pictures below. So we need to identify those pictures. So look at number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is number 1? Anyone?
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. Okay, good job. So how come you said that that is an atmosphere?
Air.
Air. Okay, precisely. Okay, how about number 2? What is number 2?
Lithosphere.
Lithosphere. All right. So how come you said that is a lithosphere?
Rocks formation in that.
Wow, good job. That is correct. How about number 3?
Hydrosphere.
Are you sure that's hydrosphere? Look again.
Biosphere.
Biosphere. Okay, good job. So how come you said that that is a biosphere?
Life, trees, and birds.
Yes, good job. So it looks like a jungle, right? So in a jungle, there are lives or there are living things there. Okay, good job. How about number 4?
Hydrosphere.
Hydrosphere. Okay, how come you said that is a hydrosphere?
Water.
There is a body of water. Water or bodies of water. Okay, good job. Very good. So, again, number 1 is atmosphere because there is, again,
Air.
air. Very good. So, number 2, it is lithosphere because?
Rocks in formation and land.
Yes, very good. How about number 3? That is biosphere because?
Life and trees and birds.
Yes, very good. And how about number 4? Why is it hydrosphere?
Water.
All right, good job. So the class is really listening. Very good. Keep it up, okay? All right. So after we discussed the 4 subsystems of the Earth, now let us go to the other topic. Now, have you ever wondered, class, where the rain comes from? Saan nanggagaling ang ulan? Or how the clouds are formed? How are they formed? Paano sila nabubuo? So, well, this is what the water cycle is about. So, I have here a picture of a water cycle. This is a water cycle image. Now, come and let's explore together. So, let us try to label the different processes and phases of water involved in the water cycle. Okay. So, as you can see, there are 4. So, let's try to label them. Okay. So, what do you think is the first part?
Condensation.
Condensation. Okay. How about the next part?
Precipitation.
Precipitation. Okay. How about the third part?
Evaporation.
Evaporation. All right. That's in the water. Is that evaporation or
Collection.
collection? Good job. Now, what is the last part? The fourth part, the fourth box. That is the
Evaporation.
evaporation. Yes, correct. Very good. So that is the water cycle. So let's check. All right, class. So very good. So we were able to fill in the blanks. Now this time, let us consider and try to determine what are their functions. So this is the water cycle. Can you tell me, if you really got it, can you tell me what is condensation?
Condensation, it is the process by which water vapor in the air is changed into liquid water.
So that's correct. So when you say condensation, it is a process wherein the water vapor from the clouds in the air is changed into liquid water. So to make it easier to understand, it is the water vapor turning back into liquid water, right? So with the best example being those big fluffy clouds over your head. Now, when these water droplets become heavy, they will combine in the clouds and they become heavy enough to form raindrops down onto your head. All right, so good job. That is condensation. Now, can you tell me what is precipitation?
Precipitation to clean the atmosphere, washing out the man-made air pollution and natural aerosols.
Yes, that is correct. So this is to clean the atmosphere. Do you think precipitation is important?
Yes.
Yes, that is right. So because it cleans the atmosphere. So when you say precipitation, this is any liquid or frozen water that forms in the atmosphere and then falls back to the earth. So this is in the form of rain or snowfall. Okay, so in the Philippines, it rains only because we don't have snow here. All right, very good. So what is collection?
Collection. Collection, this is rainwater that falls from the clouds as rain, snow, hail, or sleet collects in the oceans, river, lakes, streams.
All right, good job. So that is the water that falls down onto the earth from the clouds. So their form is as a rain, there's snow, hail, or sleet. So they are collected into the bodies of water. They fall into the ocean, the rivers, the lakes, and the streams. So collection in the water cycle, it occurs when the precipitation releases fresh water back onto the earth and it collects in the bodies of water such as lakes, streams, oceans, etc. Okay? Now next, what is evaporation?
Evaporation, the purpose of this is to concentrate the solution of non-volatile solute, solids, and solvent, liquid, which is typically water.
All right, good job. So to make it simple, evaporation is the process by which the water changes from a liquid to a gas or vapor. Okay, good job. So that is the water cycle. Again, what are the four processes of water cycle?
Condensation, precipitation, evaporation, collection.
All right, so I have a question for you. Which comes first, collection or evaporation? Which is the first after precipitation?
Condensation.
Yes, that is right. So condensation, precipitation, collection, and evaporation. Okay? All right, good job. So when you say water cycle, it continues. It is a continuous cycle on the surface of the earth, which processes the water. All right, so is everything clear, class? Any questions? None so far?
Nothing.
All right, so if you have any questions, don't be shy to ask. Raise your hands, okay? All right, very good. All right, very good, class. So, again, what are the four subsystems of the Earth?
Atmosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere.
Yes, very good. Good memory. Now, what are the four water cycle processes?
Condensation, precipitation, collection, evaporation.
Yes, very good. So, do you understand all of the processes now?
Yes.
Yes. Do you think that precipitation is important?
Yes.
Yes, very good. All right. So congratulations. We are now on the middle of our discussion. Now, are you excited to our next topic?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. That's what I like. Okay. So as your adventure partner, let us continue our journey. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to discuss the 4 subsystems of the Earth. So before we proceed, Earth's interconnected cycles, or the 4 subsystems of the Earth, consist of the air, land, water, and life. So these are all interconnected. So the different systems of the Earth are known as we previously tackled, the atmosphere, the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. So these systems, they work together to create our world, and in order to understand their relationships between these systems, we must know that each system is a group of related elements that form a complex whole. All right, so let's go now to our next topic, which are the 4 subsystems of the Earth, or the Earth's interconnected cycles. Okay. All right. So when you say atmosphere, imagine the air that you breathe in. That is the atmosphere. So atmosphere is air. All right. So let us check what is the meaning of atmosphere. So atmosphere, it is a thin gaseous layer that envelopes the lithosphere. So it envelopes the lithosphere. Now next, it is composed of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 0.9% argon, and trace amount of other gases. It is one of the most important processes by which the heat on the Earth's surface is redistributed through atmospheric circulation. So through the atmospheric circulation, the heat on Earth is redistributed properly. All right. So when you say atmosphere, it is the layers of gases surrounding a planet or other celestial body. So in this case, it is the Earth, our planet, our home. Now, atmosphere is defined as the area of air and gas enveloping objects in space, like the stars and the planets, or the air around any location. So example of the atmosphere is the ozone and other layers which make up the Earth's sky as we see it. So when you look up into the sky, that is the atmosphere. It envelopes the Earth itself. It has ozone which protects the Earth. Now, the atmosphere, it contains all the air in Earth's system. So in other words, atmosphere is air that we breathe in. So without atmosphere, we cannot breathe, right? So the upper portion of the atmosphere, it protects the organisms of the biosphere from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. It also absorbs and emits heat. So it is a process. It's like a cycle. So when air temperature in the lower portion of the sphere changes, weather occurs. Like, for example, there will be rain, summer, like that. Now, as air in the very lower atmosphere is heated or cooled, it moves around the planet. So the result can be as simple as a breeze or as complex as a tornado. So when you feel the breeze, when you feel a tornado, it only means that the lower atmosphere is either heated or cooled. So as it moves around the planet, it turns into a simple breeze or a cool or a tornado. So air is all related with atmosphere. Now I have a question for you, class. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So as what I've said about the abundance of the gases, so I have a question for you. So what is the most abundant element in the Earth's atmosphere?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. Very good. That is correct because nitrogen makes up 78% of the Earth's atmosphere. Imagine. Amazing. Now next, just a trivia. I'm not sure if you know, but if you know it, then very good. Now, what instrument is used to measure the air pressure?
Barometer.
Wow, you still remember. Good job. So barometer, it measures the air pressure or the atmospheric pressure. Okay, good job. Very good, class. Any questions?
Nothing.
All right, very good. Let's proceed to the next slide. All right. So another thing, atmosphere is there is also a constant exchange of heat and moisture between the atmosphere and the hydrosphere through the hydrologic cycle. So as we mentioned earlier, there is an exchange of heat. It absorbs, it emits heat. Now here, there's a constant exchange. So this is called the hydrologic cycle or In other words, the water cycle. It's another term for water cycle. So remember, class, the other term for water cycle is hydrologic cycle. Okay? So this is the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. Okay? Any questions?
Nothing.
All right. Very good, class. All right. So next, let us discuss about the lithosphere. So lithosphere is from the Greek word lithos, which means stone. Now, the lithosphere includes the rocks of the crust and mantle, the metallic liquid outer core, and the solid metallic inner core. Now, the lithosphere, imagine the earth, it is the solid outer part of the earth, including the brittle upper portion of the mantle and the crust. So, the plate tectonics is part of an important process shaping the surface of the earth. So, the lithosphere is divided into huge slabs called the tectonic plates. Now, the heat from the mantle, which is the inner heat, it makes the rocks at the bottom of lithosphere slightly soft, and this causes the plates to move. Now, the movement of these plates is known as plate tectonics. That is an important process in shaping the surface of the earth. Now, most tectonic activity takes place where these plates meet. So once these plates meet, tectonic activity takes place. So they collide, they tear apart, or they slide against each other. So this one, we really cannot feel it unless there is an earthquake or volcano eruption. Now, the primary driving mechanism is the Earth's internal heat, because Earth can also emit heat. It has an internal heat, and that is called the mantle convection. Now, tectonic activity is responsible for many natural events on Earth. Now, these includes earthquakes and volcanoes. So, plate tectonics is what allows mountain and deep ocean trenches form. So, class, I have a question. Are you afraid of earthquake?
Yes.
Yes, right? Me too. So, when you experience earthquake, what do you do? Do you run and hide? You do? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, me too. Now, when there's a volcanic eruption, in my lifetime, I haven't experienced it, but for those who has experienced it, I think that's really, really traumatic, especially what happened to the Taal volcano eruption this year, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So just remember that in lithosphere, there's a lot of tectonic events that occurs and that contributes to the many natural events. Okay, all right. So next, this flow, which is what we have mentioned earlier, the mantle convection. So the mantle convection is an important method of heat transport within the Earth. That is why the primary driving mechanism is the Earth's internal heat. So mantle convection is the driving mechanisms for plate tectonics. So which is a process of the ultimate responsible for producing the forms of earthquakes, the mountain ranges, and volcanoes on Earth. So remember that mantle convection, that is a driving mechanism for the plate tectonics. Okay, so class, do you have any questions?
Nothing.
Okay, all right. So I have a few questions for you before we proceed to the next topic. So this is like a trivia. So which of the following is classed as fine-grained? Is it clay or boulder?
Clay.
Clay, yes, very good. Now, which of these is considered a lake within a volcano within a lake? Is it the Mount Fuji or Taal Lake?
Taal Lake.
Taal Lake, yes. It is a very beautiful tourist spot in our country, the Philippines, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct. So although the lake is not really drinkable or even swimmable because of its high sulfur content, it's still a great sight to behold. Have you seen the Taal Lake, class?
Yes.
Yes. How do you find it beautiful?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Me too. I went to Tagaytay before. So, have you been to Tagaytay before?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good, class. All right. So, let us discuss the next one, which is the biosphere. So, what is biosphere, class? It is the set of all life forms on Earth, right? So, from the word bio, which means life. Now, it covers all ecosystems, from the soil to the rainforest, from mangroves to coral reefs, and from the plankton-rich ocean surface to the deep sea. So from the surface of the earth to the deepest part of the earth, biosphere exists as long as there is life, no? So the biosphere is also known as the ecosphere. So it is the worldwide sum of all of the ecosystem on Earth. Now, it can also be termed as the zone of life on Earth, right? So it's full of life, full of living things there. So by the most general biophysiological definition, the biosphere is the global ecological system integrating all living beings and their relationship with each other, including their interaction with the elements of the lithosphere, the geosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. So they are all, again, interconnected. So the biosphere, it contains all the planet's living things. So this sphere includes all of the microorganisms, the plants and animals on Earth, including us. So within the biosphere, living things form ecological communities based on the physical surroundings of an area. So these communities are referred to as biomes. So example of biomes are the deserts, the grasslands, and the tropical rainforests. So these are the three many types of biomes that exist within the biosphere. So the biosphere, remember, is formed depending on the area within. Okay, so very good. Now I have a question for you, class. Can you define biosphere in a simple way?
Yes. As a part of the earth, water, and atmosphere which inhabits living organisms.
Yes, so in other words, it inhabits living organisms. Okay, very good. Now my next question, class. So the biosphere is consist of what?
Lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere.
Yes, very good. So the biosphere, it is also consisting of the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. Okay, very good. Nice one. Good job, class. So remember the biosphere, it's just the living part of the planet, right? So that is a part of the planet where the living microorganisms, animals, humans, anything that has life exists. So that is the biosphere. Okay. All right. So in the biosphere, for the majority of life on Earth, the base of the food chain comprises photosynthetic organisms. So the photosynthetic organisms, also known as the photoautotrophs, so these are organisms that are capable of photosynthesis. So some of these organisms include the higher plants, some protists such as algae and euglena, and the bacteria. Now let us try to remember what again is photosynthesis. So this is the process by which the green plants and some other organisms use sunlight to synthesize foods from carbon dioxide and water. Now, during the photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is sequestered or isolated from the atmosphere, while oxygen is released as a byproduct. Now, when you say isolated, it's like, for example, the trees, they absorb the carbon dioxide from the environment, from the atmosphere, and then as a byproduct they release oxygen. Now that oxygen is the air that we breathe. So trees are very important, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yes, you have to know that trees are very important, so we really have to take care of the trees. Let us not cut a lot of trees, no? Now, it says here that the biosphere is a carbon dioxide sink, and therefore it is an important part of the carbon cycle. So, a carbon dioxide sink, what is that? It is like a carbon reservoir that is increasing in size and is the opposite of a carbon source. Now, the main natural sinks are the oceans and plants and other organisms that use photosynthesis to remove carbon from the atmosphere by incorporating it into biomass. So it's just like the process of, the trees. They sequester the carbon dioxide, and at the end, the byproduct is the oxygen. Now, they remove carbon from the atmosphere and then they incorporate it into a biomass. Now, what is a biomass? It is a plant or animal material that is used as a fuel to produce electricity or heat. So examples of the biomass are wood, energy crops, and waste from the forests, yards, or farms, no? So it says here that sunlight is not necessary for life. Do you think so? Do you think sunlight is not necessary for life? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you said yes. Well, yes, humans can live without sunlight, but not for long. We cannot survive that long without sunlight because our planet deeply depends or fully depends on sun. We are fully dependent on the sun. Now, our environment and ecosystem will collapse, beginning with the grasses and then the trees, crops, animals, and lastly, we. So, although sunlight is not necessary for life, but we need it. All right? Okay, good. So class, I have a few questions for you. Let us check your knowledge check. Now, what is the component of the biosphere that is related with soil?
Lithosphere.
Lithosphere. Wow, very good. All right, next. The phenomenon of rain, dew, snow, sleet, or different forms of water coming to Earth under force of gravity is called precipitation. Yes, very good. Good job. All right, you still remember. Very good, class. So don't forget, precipitation is the process of the phenomenon of rain. Okay, very good. So good job, class. Now, any questions about biosphere? Is everything clear?
Yes.
All right, good job. So remember, class, we have to take care of the biosphere as well because that is where the life of the earth is. Okay? All right, good job, class. All right, so last but not the least, the hydrosphere. Did you know, class, that about 70% of the earth is covered with liquid water, which is the hydrosphere, and much of it is in the form of ocean water. Wow, imagine that. So 70%. So only 30% of the earth is made of land or the lithosphere. Now, only 3% of Earth's water is fresh. Two-thirds are in the form of ice, and the remaining one-third is present in streams, lakes, and groundwater. So, oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface. It makes them the biggest part of the hydrosphere, the oceans. So, the hydrosphere is simply the total of all the water in Earth's atmosphere. So again, hydrosphere only comprises the total water in Earth's atmosphere. So imagine only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh. So 97% of Earth's water is salty, maalat. So the salty water collects in deep valleys along Earth's surface. Now these large collections of salty water are referred to as oceans. So again, 97% of the Earth's water is the ocean. Now, most people have heard that Earth is the water planet, right? So with that in mind, it has a rightful image of a world with plenty full of water. Now, if you see some photographs taken from space, we can see that our planet has more water than land, right? So however, of all the water on Earth, imagine that more than 99% of Earth's water is unusable by humans and many other living things. Only about 0.3% of our fresh water is found in the surface water of lakes, rivers, and swamps. So we only share the 0.3 fresh water that we can use. The rest are part of the ocean. Now, I have some questions for you guys before we end the topic about the hydrosphere. So again, hydrosphere is always related to the water components of the earth. Okay. Now, I have a question for you. So what process accounts for the fact that the water on Earth now is the same water that has been on Earth for 4 billion years ago? It is the
Water cycle.
yes, the water cycle. So that was what we have discussed earlier. So the water cycle is a process that happened even 4 billion years ago. So imagine, amazing, right, class?
Yes.
Yes, it is. All right. So next question. Why is the ocean water more dense than fresh water?
Ocean water contains more salt than fresh water.
Yes, exactly. Because imagine only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh. which 97% is the ocean part, the salty part of the earth. So that's why it is more dense than fresh water. Okay, very good. Good job, class. So do you have any questions about the hydrosphere?
Nothing.
All right, so everything is clear so okay, class. So that ends our topic about the 4 subsystems of the Earth. Now to check your knowledge, we will have a very, very short quiz. Okay, are you ready for your quiz?
Yes.
All right, so please grab a 1/4 sheet of paper and a pen. So you write down your letter of the correct answer. I will just dictate the questions. All right, this will test your audio skills and your understanding. So please listen carefully. So it starts now, okay? All right, let's start with number 1. Which of the following is not one of the 4 subsystems of the Earth? A. Biosphere, B. Hydrosphere, C. Watersphere, or D. Geosphere? Okay, let's move to number 2. All of the waters, including subsurface and atmospheric water, comprise the Earth. Which geological subsystem best labeled the statement? A. The geosphere, B. The hydrosphere, C. The biosphere, D. The atmosphere. Alright, let's proceed to number 3. Earth contains all living organisms, including those on the land, in the water, and air. So which subsystem best describes the statement? A. Biosphere, B. Hydrosphere, C. Atmosphere, or D. Geosphere? Alright, let's proceed to number 4. So which subsystem suits the statement? Global ecological system interacting with each other. A. Biosphere, B. Geosphere, C. Hydrosphere, or D. Atmosphere? Alright, number 5, class. What subsystem will network with biosphere for photosynthesis to take place? Letter A. Atmosphere, B. Geosphere, C. Hydrosphere, or D. Biosphere? Okay. Number 6. Class, are you still catching up? Yes?
Yes.
Alright, good. Let's have number 6. So, oxygen, water vapor, nitrogen, and other gases help organisms to survive. So, which Earth sphere contains these materials? A. Biosphere, B. Atmosphere, C. Hydrosphere, or D. Geosphere? Okay, number 7. Which term is used to describe the thin layer of solid rock that makes up the outermost part of the Earth? A. Core, B. Crust, C. Mantle, D. Biosphere? Alright, number 8. Among the subsystems, which is composed of a mixture of gases that surrounds the Earth? So is it letter A. Nitrogen, B. Atmosphere, C. Biosphere, or D. Kingdoms? Okay, so next, number 9. The atmosphere of the Earth is composed of blank nitrogen and blank oxygen and other gases. So which is the correct answer? Letter A, 0% and 100%, B, 21% and 78%, C, 78% and 21%, D, 505 and 505. Okay, last number, class, number 10. In what subsystem of the Earth are the rocks and minerals found? Letter A, atmosphere, B, biosphere, C, hydrosphere, or D, geosphere? Okay, class. So, do you want me to repeat the questions? Yes or no?
Yes.
Alright, so let's go back to number 1. Okay. Alright, class. Do you have any questions? Which number do you need to listen again?
Yes.
Which number?
Number 5.
Number 5. Okay. So again, the question was, what subsystem will network with biosphere for photosynthesis to take place? A. Atmosphere, B. Geosphere, C. Hydrosphere, or D. Biosphere? Okay. Any other number, class? Did all of you catch it up? Yes?
Yes.
Alright. So is everyone done?
Yes.
Alright. So let us check your papers. No cheating, okay?
Yes.
All right, so let's go back to number 1. So just give me the correct answer with the word, okay? Please answer out loudly, okay? All right. So number 1, which of the following is not one of the 4 subsystems of the Earth?
Water sphere.
Water sphere, very good. That is letter
C.
Letter C. Good job. Number 2. So all of the waters, including subsurface and atmospheric water, comprise the Earth. So which geological subsystem best labeled the statement? What's your answer?
The hydrosphere.
This is letter
B.
Letter B. Okay, very good. Now number 3. Earth contains all living organisms, including those on the land, in the water, and air. Which subsystem best describes the statement?
Biosphere.
Very good. Which is letter?
Letter A.
Letter A. Good job. Number 4. So which subsystem suits the statement global ecological system interacting with each other? It is letter?
Biosphere.
Very good. Which is letter?
Letter A.
Letter A. Very good. Let's have number 5. So what subsystem will network with biosphere for photosynthesis to take place?
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. Letter?
Letter A.
Letter A. Very good. Number 6. Oxygen, water vapor, nitrogen, and other gases help organisms to survive. Which Earth sphere contains these materials?
Atmosphere.
Letter?
Letter B.
Letter B. Atmosphere. Good job. Okay, number 7. Which term is used to describe the thin layer of solid rock that makes up the outermost part of the Earth? Letter?
Letter B. Crust.
Crust. Correct. Very good. Number 8. Among the subsystems, which is composed of a mixture of gases that surrounds the Earth? Letter?
Letter B. Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. Good job. Number 9. The atmosphere of the Earth is composed of blank nitrogen and blank oxygen and other gases. So which letter?
Letter C. 78% and 21%.
Yes, very good, very good. Okay, last one, number 10. In what subsystem of the Earth are the rocks and mineral found?
Letter D. Geosphere.
Very good. Okay, good job, class. So perfect. 10 over 10. Just write your score on the paper. I will collect that later, okay? All right, good job. Class, do you have any questions?
Nothing.
All right. All right, class. Good job with the quiz. Did everyone got a perfect score or a passing score? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, very good. So it only means that you are really listening in the discussion. Okay, very good, class. So again, are the subsystems of the Earth important?
Yes.
Yes, yes, it's a big yes. It's really, really very important. Okay, and we are all part of it. We are all here for this one. Okay, all right, good job, class. All right, okay, so class, since you said yes, then I have a question for you. So what might happen if any of the 4 subsystems of Earth fail or become disturbed by human activities? Any answers? Yes, Lenny.
If any of the 4 subsystems of Earth become disturbed by human activities, then the balance of the subsystems will fail. The human activities that damage the 4 subsystems might cause the great downfall of the Earth. The biosphere is made up of lithosphere, hydrosphere, and air. If the biosphere is damaged, life will not exist on Earth and humans will not live.
Yes, exactly. Very good, Lenny. Good comprehension and good reflection. So it's really gonna be a bad thing if one of the 4 subsystems of the Earth fail, right? Or become disturbed by human activities. So us humans are also responsible in keeping these 4 subsystems balanced together, right? Because again, just like what Lenny said, if the biosphere is damaged, life will not exist on Earth and humans will not live. So we will not live. I will not be here in front of you if the biosphere is damaged. Okay? All right, good job, Lenny. Now, next question. What is a system, class?
No.
Joy, what is the system?
As a related to the term Earth system, it refers to Earth interacting physical, chemical, and biological processes The system consists of the land, ocean, atmosphere, and poles.
All right, good idea. So the system here is related to the Earth's system. So again, class, remember the Earth system, it consists of the land, oceans, atmosphere, and poles. All right, now next question. Again, what are the different subsystems of Earth? Describe each.
Uh,
Go, yes.
These four subsystems are called spheres. Specifically, they are not ledosphere, land, hydrosphere, water, biosphere, living things, and atmosphere, air. The lead, the
Yes.
sphere contains all of the cold, large, solid land of the planet's crust surface, the same semi-solid land underneath the crust, and the liquid land near the planet's center. The hydrosphere contains all the solid, liquid, and gaseous, gaseous water of the Earth. The biosphere has all the planet's living things. The atmosphere includes all the air in Earth's system.
Yes. Wow, very good. Thank you for wrapping it all up, Lenny. So again, the four subsystems are called spheres and they are divided into four. That is the lithosphere, which is the land, hydrosphere, which is water, biosphere, living things, and atmosphere, air. Okay, good job. Very good. Good job. Any other questions, class?
Yeah, no.
None so far? If you have any questions, just raise your hand, okay? Don't be shy. Nothing. All right. Very good, class. So good job. All right, class. So good job with the oral recitation. So now I will leave you with an assignment because this is going to be one of your essays. So this is our topic. As a student, what can you say about this statement? A problem on a subsystem can affect other subsystems of a family. So just write it on a yellow pad, or if you want to send it to me through email, you can use Microsoft Word. All right, or I will just post it in our Google Classroom. Okay, so that's going to be our topic. Please internalize and reflect on what's going to happen. How will it affect other subsystems of a family when a problem occurs on a subsystem? Okay, now I have another assignment for you. Please research and write at least 200 words about one's internalized role as a steward of the four subsystems concerning the flow of matter and energy. All right, so here are my rubrics for the essay content. So make sure that I will check if you understand the concept of a system. All right, so these are the following rankings or ratings. Not visible, needs improvement, meets expectations, exceeds expectations. All right, so you have to, you should be able to describe the different components or subsystems of the Earth system in your essay. And then you can identify and explain how mass and energy is exchanged among the components of a system, and the essay should be relevant to the assigned topic and written logically and clearly. All right, so you have to take your time, class, because I will give you 3 days to finish this essay. All right, you can submit it after 3 days from today's date. All right. Okay, so I will leave you an inspirational quote from Leonard Nimoy. He said, I predict the future of this earthly human race is that having made a mess of Earth, they'll move to outer space. All right. So if we don't want to move to outer space, then let's not make a mess of Earth. But I know that right now, Earth is experiencing something that is the pandemic, the COVID-19. But then let's just get all vaccinated to protect our family, ourselves, and hopefully someday we can all get back to normal. But for now, let us keep on learning even on this kind of distance learning. All right. Thank you, class. All right, class. Very good. So this is the end of our unit lesson for today about the Earth Life Science, four subsystems of the Earth, and the water cycle lesson. Now, always remember that the four subsystems are interconnected, and once one subsystem is affected, all of the systems family is affected. Okay, so I leave you today with a happy smile because we are done with our lesson, and everyone did a great job because everyone got a passing score during the quiz and everyone participated during the oral recitation. And also, I'm gonna leave you with a fact that I am very, very glad that we were able to achieve today's objectives. All right, so be careful, class. Always follow the safety health protocols because we still have this COVID-19 virus around us. That's why we're still doing these virtual classes. So for now, be safe all the time, take care, and always wear a face mask, bring alcohol, and then see you next week. Okay? All right. So class, enjoy the rest of the day. Don't forget your assignments. Please submit it 3 days from now. Okay? So I will post the assignment on the Google Classroom, and I will post there the due date and the time, so you can just hand in your assignments, which is the 2 essays. Okay? Those are the 2 essays. Okay? So again, thank you for your participation. Thank you for your dedication, for focusing and listening and participating in all of our activities. So good job with that. So keep it up. I'll see you again next time. All right. Goodbye, class. Take care. Stay safe.